Hello, I am IPSC Shotgun World Champion Jaakko Viitala, and this is an in-depth review about the new Benelli Nova Speed. The Nova Speed is a race-ready competition shotgun for dynamic disciplines. Out of the box, it has all the features needed in competition. Unlike traditional shotguns, it will not require gunsmithing or extra parts to be competitive. This will save you a lot of time and money. And with a lot of completely new features, it can be said with confidence that it is the fastest and most competitive pump action shotgun in the world right now. I'm a member of Benelli factory team. And personally, I've had the opportunity to influence the design and shoot the Nova Speed for the factory testing phase. As a competitive shooter, it makes me very happy that the factory has committed to a project building a completely new and a true race shotgun. The concept is a lot different from any existing pump action shotgun. But let's dive deeper into the details. Nova Speed has the latest Benelli traditional shotgun geometry, so it will also perform perfectly for shooting clays, birds or other hunting. The overall feeling and handling of the shotgun is very similar to the slimlined and lightweight Benelli hunting shotguns. If you are used to the ergonomy of Benelli semi-automatic shotguns, you will feel right at home with the new Nova Speed. It's a very good fit for most body types, and the controls are easy to reach and fast to manipulate. The weight of the shotgun is light. Out of the box, a 24-inch barrel shotgun weighs 3.3 kilos. And with the extended magazine tube removed, the weight is 3.1 kilos. A light shotgun is fast to handle and it will give you an advantage during competitions. When you feel the Nova Speed for the first time, you will notice that mounting the gun, all manipulations and target transitions feel fast due to the reduced weight. The Benelli Speed models are equipped with the new ComforTech 3 stock. With the included 25mm recoil pad, the length of pull is 365 mm. So basically the same as most other Benelli hunting shotguns. The Benelli ComforTech system makes the stock frame absorb part of the recoil shock. The chevrons allow the stock to compress during recoil. This will take the sharpness out of heavy loads and increase the shooting comfort. But also for competition loads, the recoil feeling is dampened. ComforTech 3 is the latest and optimized stock model from the Benelli factory, and it is a very nice value-added feature because the integrated design does not increase the weight of the shotgun compared to, for example, some type of spring and piston recoil system. With the ComforTech 3, the stock cheek comb also gets a new design, which is called the Benelli ComTech. With the new stock, the factory has been able to design a much bigger cheek comb integrated into the stock. The new comb is able to dampen impacts much better. So when shooting, the shock, impact and vibrations transferred to the shooter's face through the cheek are reduced. This is important for a dynamic shooter because the success of shooting fast follow-up shots is greatly affected by the quality of the shooter's vision of the targets and sights. All impacts to the face affect the shooter's vision. Reducing the stock impact to the face improves the quality of shooter's vision during firing and therefore the speed of acquiring and hitting multiple targets at speed. It is also possible to quickly remove and change the cheek comb to adjust the stock for different shooters. And of course, the cast and drop are adjustable in the ComforTech 3. Also, the attachment of recoil pads in the ComforTech 3 stock is the same as in previous ComforTech stocks. So you can attach shorter or longer recoil pads or an InnovaTAC adapter. Also, you can cut the ComforTech 3 stock 20 mm to the Benelli compact dimensions like before, and attach a smaller Benelli compact recoil pad or InnovaTAC adapter for aftermarket recoil pads. The pistol grip has a slightly smaller radius than previous Benelli stocks. Difference is not huge, but if you are used to the older Benelli stocks, you will notice it. A more straight grip allows for more control of the gun and trigger. For a dynamic shooter, this is a welcome upgrade. The receiver is machined aluminum. Nova Speed is chambered for 76 mm cartridges, so the receiver can be made shorter compared to shotguns using 89 mm cartridge. This reduces the weight and overall length of the shotgun. Also, the action cycle is shorter and therefore faster. Looking at the receiver, the first thing that catches the eye is the big loading port. Unlike traditional pump action shotguns, the Nova Speed action moves high up in the receiver, so there is nothing preventing such a huge opening of the loading port. The receiver comes like this from the factory and allows for fast, modern loading techniques with both hands. Without any modification, the loading port is already truly competitive out of the box. The cartridges are held in a magazine by one swinging shell latch, a similar solution that you see in modern semi-automatic shotguns. This solves the feed timing issue of traditional pump action shotguns, and there is no mechanical limit of the speed you can shoot this shotgun. It will always feed reliably, and you can use a light magazine spring. The shell latch is made of two pieces, so it creates very little additional resistance when loading the magazine tube. The trigger group is also aluminum. From the outside, it is shaped to increase the size of the loading port and to create a kind of a funnel for the shells going into the magazine tube, making the loading process easy and fast. Shell lifter has a detent, so once pushed down, it will stay down until the action is cycled. So there is no resistance from the lifter or any chance to hurt your thumb between the receiver and the lifter during loading. My personal opinion is that the Nova Speed is the easiest tube shotgun to reload on the planet. The trigger pull weight on this shotgun measures exactly 2.0 kilos. The trigger group looks like and works a lot like the simple and robust M2 trigger. Also, the trigger reset works like in the semi-automatic shotgun, meaning it is easier to work the trigger fast, without the trigger freeze that happens easily with traditional pump action shotguns. The safety button is large and easy to operate. When pushed down, it is out of the way, but if you try to operate the trigger while the safety is on, you will feel the safety button on your finger. A very well engineered feature that will not allow you to forget to remove the safety. The action cycle of the Nova Speed is unbelievably smooth out of the box. There are several engineered features that contribute to the action smoothness. One of those features is the bolt carrier that has a surface treatment that gives the bolt carrier a very low friction in the contact points with the receiver and the hammer. The bolt carrier arm is machined from a single piece of steel. This gives a very durable and robust feeling. But what I would consider the main benefit is that it is a precise fit and moves very well inside the receiver. This is a big upgrade from a traditional two-piece design that will always have more play and create more resistance when cycled. The forend is short from the factory. It is short enough that when you use modern reloading techniques, you won't hit the shells on the forend. Also, there's a plastic cover in the empty space under the forend. This is very nice because it eliminates the possibility of catching your hand between the forend and the receiver. If you have ever done this on any other pump action shotgun, you will know that it can be very painful. Currently, the factory offers two options for the barrel. A 26-inch barrel and a 24-inch barrel, which I am personally using. Inside the barrel is a chrome line for protection against corrosion. The barrel has a flip-up rear sight, which you can use when you need to place your shots very accurately. The rear sight is very useful, for example shooting slugs to a long distance. However, it can be flipped down for maximum visibility and speed when shooting birdshot. Currently, the speed shotguns include 3 internal chokes: improved cylinder, modified and full chokes. Also, you get 2 special extended chokes. The ampliator, which is a short-range diffuser choke that gives out more wide patterns than an open cylinder choke. And the long shot, that is a very tight choke to help extend the range to even longer than with a full choke. The choke standard is the Benelli Cryo Plus that you will find in most new Benelli shotguns like the M2. Together with the chokes is included a good choke wrench that can be disassembled for transport. Remember to bring this extended choke wrench with you if you plan to use the ampliator choke, because that choke will tighten up during shooting due to the internal rifling. The front sight is fixed to the barrel with 2 screws and has a long and bright 1.5 mm red optic fiber that makes a very precise sight picture. Currently, the speed shotguns come with a 12-round extension and a nice X-shaped barrel clamp. The magazine has a recess for the barrel clamp, so it will stay in place during shooting and recoil. With a 12-round magazine, it is quite easy to make competition stage strategy and to be competitive. The thread on the extended magazine tube nut is Benelli M3, so any aftermarket tube needs to be compatible with that. If you are not shooting IPSC competitions, you might also benefit from the nice additional ghost loading feature of the Nova Speed. What this means is that you can drop 1 additional shell on the lifter, adding 1 more shell to the maximum capacity. The Nova Speed is a competition-ready shotgun right off the box. However, every shooter has their own preferences and how to adapt the shotgun to their shooting style. I will walk you guys through what I've done to my Nova Speed. The action of the gun has not required any changes to shoot fast. For most shooters, the information that you don't have to do any gunsmithing to the insides of the shotgun is very welcome. Of course, you can still smooth out some parts, but it is not necessary and there will not be any huge difference if you do so. I've got 20 mm to the Benelli compact dimensions, and I like to use 9-degree additional pitch on the shotgun stocks because of my dynamic shooting stance. The stock is cut with an InnovaTAC adapter kit and is fitted with 2 tapered spacers and the shoe recoil pad. Because there are no feed timing issues with the Nova Speed system, I run the InnovaTAC light spring in the magazine tube. This reduces the loading resistance and makes it even easier and faster to reload the shotgun. The magazine tube is a 340 mm all-of performance carbon telescopic magazine tube The collapsed overall length of the shotgun is no longer than the barrel with an extended choke. The collapsed capacity of the magazine tube is 10 rounds, and when it's expanded, the capacity is 14 shells fitted with the InnovaTAC inner and telescopic spring. Personally, I like to use extended chokes, so I've fitted my Nova Speed with the Benelli original sport choke set. They are easy to use and give a nice original look and good patterns with good ammo. The sight picture has been adjusted with a bigger and brighter front sight. I like my front sight to be as big as bright as possible for maximum speed. This is the InnovaTAC Speed Shotgun sight that has a sharp top point that fits well inside the rear sight for accurate shots. But for the optic tube is almost 3 times bigger than the original, and the more visible front bead helps my vision to catch the sight faster during high-speed firing. For hunting, I don't use the long extended magazine tube. I replace the tube with InnovaTAC Benelli magazine extension plug, which also includes a QD slot for my sling. I hope this has been helpful and you have enjoyed the video. Thanks and see you next time.